In 2018, we had a community conversation here in Russiaville and asked the question, what are some things that we need in our community of Russiaville? The one that rose to the top was people struggling with addictions in the Russiaville area. So First Baptist Church, Main Street Christian Church, and Friends Church, as well as other people in the community, banded together to start a addiction resource helps for people. And we started a group that meets on Friday nights at 7 o'clock. We also see there's some real needs in our community for people struggling with pornography, people struggling with depression and suicide. We're working together with churches and other folks in our community to try to put together a Russiaville Community Resource Center called Turnabout for the means of reaching more people in the Russiaville areas. What we're doing in Russiaville is not just a pipe dream. We have folks that are being helped, people who have been here a year and are clean, people who have been here 3 years, people who came to that community meeting in 2018 and were still struggling, that now today are helping those who are struggling.
I've been a drug addict since I think I started when I was about 15 or 16. I overdosed for the first time. And it was a process throughout my whole life that I was a drug addict, just in and out of different addictions. About 7 years ago, my dad passed away, and me and my brother got really hooked on drugs really bad after that. And then my brother died of a drug overdose. I didn't really want to live anymore, so I prayed, and for the first time, probably ever, and Jesus came into my life. I was missing a lot of work. I knew my boss was a very good Christian man. I knew I was on the verge of being fired, so I sat him down. I couldn't do it no more, and I talked to him and told him I was a drug addict and I needed to go to rehab.
Addiction and mental health issues, of which have been a part of my life, and I tried to seek help but couldn't find it anywhere, especially in Russiaville. I remember we plastered a wall of Post-it notes up, and I put that up there thinking I may be the only one, but much to my amazement and surprise, other people had put that up there as well. And we began to talk about it, and I felt an urge. I think God was giving me some strength to confess and talk to them openly and out loud about my own struggles with addiction and mental health.
I was at rehab in Mississippi, Home of Grace, and I came back on a Monday. And on Wednesday, there was a Night of Hope program in Kokomo. When I went there, I saw a table that had a recovery meeting in Russiaville, and all I saw was Russiaville. And I was so excited that there was a meeting in Russiaville because I live in New London, and having a place so close that I could walk to was just important. And so having the ability just to be able to go to a meeting without putting strain on anyone was amazing.
Thinking I was going to be fired. Instead, he ended up getting a hold of his pastor and Paul Drazich from Freedom That Lasts. They prayed with me, and they got me in touch with Sherry Rail, who set me up with getting detox. Then we got in touch with Joey Bennett, got in touch with the Home of Grace, and we started the process of moving me down to the Home of Grace for the 3-month program they have down there.
You know, I'm very thankful for Adam and Wendy and Christy. But there's many others that are struggling in Russiaville. And now we have a venue, Turnabout Community Resource Center, that is now open. Phase 1 was to find a building and to open it up so people in our community would have a place to come when they're struggling with the issues of life. There's 3 C's that I like to think about. First of all, as the faith base that we are at Freedom That Lasts, is I like to think of the first C of Christ is the answer. People need to have Christ in their daily lives. But secondly, it takes a community. We're thankful for the town of Russiaville and the community that is rising together, the businesses and the citizens and the churches of Russiaville to help meet the needs. course, third of all, we think there's connection, and people that are struggling in addiction many times are struggling with isolation, and they need to come out and work together, and the citizens in the village need to be a part of that recovery process. There's some things that you could help us with. Phase 1 was to open the doors, but phase 2 is we're hoping to get 50 entities, individuals, churches, businesses to give $100 per month to help sustain Turnabout so we can keep the doors open and meet the needs of people in our community. Phase 3 down the road, that we'll be able to connect people with coming out of isolation, perhaps a coffee shop where they can come in and spend time when they're struggling to be sober, a place to go. Another thing we need is we're taking volunteers so that we can keep the doors open at least 12 hours a day so that people can come in off the street and find help. And also in the evening times, we're running ministries like AA and other ministries and small groups to help meet the needs of individuals. So we would like you to join us in helping us to raise the support we need to meet the needs in our community of Russiaville, Indiana.